Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're here inside today because we are going to lock down our turkey eggs. All right, so fair disclosure, I had 6 turkey eggs to start with. 2 of them did not develop. Well, one didn't develop, one developed but died early on. I have 2 eggs left because even though 4 looked good when we candled last time, 2 of those died in between when I candled and now. I've already candled. So, just full disclosure, I only have 2 viable eggs left. That's actually not terrible because I started with 6. They were shipped eggs. They're turkey eggs. So, between being shipped and being turkey eggs, which are harder to hatch anyway, having 2 out of 6 make it to lockdown is not bad. So, to lock down your turkey eggs, you need somewhere to hatch them. You can hatch them in your original incubator. That is not a problem. I hatch in a separate incubator that I use as a hatcher. Okay? So let's talk about how to prepare that hatcher. First of all, your hatcher should be warmed up. So my hatcher is warmed up to, I am at 37 degrees Celsius, which is about 99, just a little under 99 Fahrenheit. That is a good temperature for your hatcher. Your incubator should have been at 37.5 Celsius or 99.5 Fahrenheit, okay, for your incubator. When you're hatching, it's okay if the temp drops a little bit, emphasis on little, very little bit, half a degree or so, maybe 1 degree at most. So you don't want it to drop too much. You can run your hatcher at the same temp. Okay, no problem. Just turning my candler on. But you can run your hatcher at the same temperature as your incubator. That is not a problem. But you don't want to go higher. Okay, either the same temperature, 99.5 Fahrenheit or 37.5 Celsius, or up to a degree lower. Otherwise, it stays the same. I'm also going to keep my humidity right around 50%. I don't want the eggs to drown. So even though turkey eggs do typically require a little more humidity than chicken eggs, I don't increase the humidity at lockdown just because I don't want these guys to drown. So, let's start transferring them over. First of all, you want to uncover your eggs. And remember, you can hatch them in here. So you want to just do a quick candle. So if I'm candling, that guy's still alive and moving. This one I've already checked. I've already checked these. Alive and moving. Excellent. Good, good, good. What you want to see is you want to see air sac that has dropped. And you want to see veins or moving or a full egg. Also, I'm putting these 2 silky eggs in. They are viable. Now, your hatcher or your incubator. If I was going to hatch in here, I would remove all of these trays. Okay? I'd remove all of these trays, lay a hatching mat down, and lay the eggs on their side in this incubator. Instead, I'm going to use a different incubator. So, this is pre-warmed, okay? You're going to take your eggs. Remember, when you're prepping your hatcher, you need some kind of mat. If you just hatch them on the plastic or on the styrofoam or whatever your hatcher is made of, they're going to slip as they hatch, and they could get splay leg. So, I'm using just it's just a shelf liner, just, non-adhesive, kind of has texture to it so they don't slip. So I'm using that as my hatching mat. Then you're going to take your eggs, lie them on their side, and they may roll a bit. That's okay. Okay, let them find their own equilibrium. Okay? See, that one didn't roll because the chick is already positioning itself to hatch. This is day 25. Chickens hatch at day 21. Ooh, that one really wants to move. But chickens hatch at day 21. Turkeys hatch at day 28. So because you need to give that chick time to get into position, what you definitely want to do is put them in the hatcher at day 25. It just gives everyone time to get into position for hatching. Okay, once everyone is in position, stick your lid back on. Make sure you are bringing your incubator to temperature and humidity. Okay? At this point, you do not want to open your incubator. You want to leave it closed. So I'm using this incubator as my hatcher. Again, you can hatch in one incubator. It doesn't matter. You can incubate and hatch in the same incubator. That's fine. I just happen to use different ones. So what you do not want to do is open this again. So this particular one, I'm going to open it even though I just said not to, has a water pot that you can fill from the outside. You want to keep this water pot pretty much full if your humidity requires it. So you're going to want to check what the humidity is without any water in your incubator. Because if you just blindly add water, you might add too much or too little. So you want to monitor the humidity. I have a hygrometer here that is monitoring temperature and humidity for me. You want to monitor your humidity. If your humidity is below about 45%, you're going to want to add water. If your humidity is around 50, 55, you probably don't want to add water. If your humidity, without any water in the incubator, is upwards of 60%, you may need to put a dry sponge in there to absorb some moisture because you don't want the chicks drowning when they hatch. Okay, baby turkeys are kind of delicate. You want to make sure that they hatch completely. So you do want to make sure your humidity is not overwhelming. Again, temperature just needs to be consistent. Okay, you don't need to play with it. You can drop it by maybe a degree, no more than that. All right, no more than a degree because they do need a consistent temperature. I just dropped my candler, no problem. But what you want to make sure you do is keep that temperature fairly consistent. Turkeys are really finicky when it comes to temperature. Lights are coming on. But turkeys are finicky when it comes to temperature. So you don't want to play with that temperature too much. Leave it consistent. A sudden change in temperature for these eggs will kill the embryo. So throughout incubation and into hatching, keep your temperature the same. Humidity, you can bring up a little bit if you need to, but otherwise you definitely want to maintain conditions for turkey eggs. They're not nearly as forgiving as chicken eggs. So keep that temperature stable. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're not going to open the incubator. That's really important. Once your humidity and your temperature are all evened out and you are happy with the conditions, walk away. Check your temp and humidity like you would during incubation, of course, but do not open the incubator. Okay? Turkeys are prone to shrink wrapping. A sudden change in humidity once these little guys pip is going to be disastrous for them. So do not open this incubator. Leave it alone. It should maintain humidity pretty well. You want to have your vents in the open position because turkeys need to breathe. Do not close your vents. You want to make sure those vents are wide open. Ventilation is so important when you're hatching. So keep those vents open at all times. But for now, we are going to set this incubator aside. We're going to check, I will check its temperature and its humidity twice a day just to make sure it is maintaining what it's supposed to maintain. But otherwise, we're not going to touch it. We're going to ignore it until these little guys start to hatch, which should be in 3 to 5 days. Remember, with longer incubation times, you also have a larger window for hatching. So unlike chickens where I kind of give them 3 days and then I kind of give up on them, I usually give turkeys about 6 days because they can have a really wide range for hatching. Mostly because they're such a big egg and they have such a long incubation time that you really can't hold them to too much of a schedule. I mean, also remember they're not machines. They're living creatures. Not everyone hatches at the exact same time, even if they're right next to each other in the incubator. But that is about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. We will come back when these guys start to hatch because that will definitely be exciting. We're really looking forward to some Ridley bronze turkeys here on the farm. We'll see you tomorrow.